Look up into the sky. This star is shining so brightly.
Yes, Niyati, that is the Dhruv Tara or the Dhruv star. Dhruv was a young rishi of ancient times and is remembered for his difficult tapa he practiced at the age of only 7.
Just 7? He was my age and did tapa? What's that?
Tapa is the third of the 5 niyamas or personal observances. It stems from the root word tapa, meaning to burn, blaze or consume by heat. Tapas literally means to purify through heating, just as intense heat is used to burn away dross in a nugget of gold. Sage Patanjali describes tapa as Kayendriya Siddhir Ashuddhikshaya Tapasaha. Dr. Anandabal Yogi Bhavnani says in his book Understanding the Yoga Darshana that the heat of tapa, intense disciplined self-effort, destroys all impurities, resulting in the mastery as well as the perfection of the physical body, kaya, and the sensory apparatus ensconced within. Indiscipline makes us a slave to the body and the senses, whereas self-discipline enables us to become their master. Niyati, as you can see in the sky, this star never moves, for it is Dhruv, who never moved from his meditation on Lord Narayana and was finally blessed by the Lord to become a guiding light to all as the North Pole star.
How? Didi, tell me the story. I love stories.
In today's episode, the Sanskrit Shri sisters aim to present tapa, making it simpler to understand with visual depictions, adding value to all our audiences across the globe. So encourage us, the Sanskrit Shri sisters, by
subscribing, liking and sharing our videos.
Once there lived a king called Uttanpada who had 2 queens, Suniti and Suruchi. Kind-hearted Queen Suniti was the older one, who was blessed with a little son named Dhruv. Beautiful Queen Suruchi, the younger queen, had a son called Uttama. Proud Queen Suruchi was determined that her son Uttama should be king when he grew up. But since Dhruv was the older son, he was more likely to be made king. So Suruchi decided to get rid of Suniti and her baby son Dhruv. Now Suruchi was also the king's favorite queen. Uttanpada loved her for her beauty and was willing to do anything to make her happy. So Suruchi made him banish Suniti and Dhruv into the forest, far, far away from the royal palace. One day, when Dhruv was 7, he asked Suniti, "Ma, where is my father? I want to meet him. Please, Ma, can I go and visit him?" Suniti blessed him and let him go. Soon Dhruv reached King Uttanpada's palace. He ran up to the king, touched his feet and gave his introduction. The king was overjoyed. He picked up his son and made him sit on his lap. Just then, Suruchi appeared. She was furious when she realized that a little boy in the king's lap was Dhruv. "You horrible little brat," she cried. "How dare you come here?" And snatching Dhruv out of the king's arms, she threw him out of the palace. "Never, ever come back," Suruchi screamed at Dhruv. "It is not you, but my son Uttama who will be king one day. There is no place for you or your mother." Dhruv went back to his mother and asked, "Ma, is there anyone more powerful than the king?" "Yes, my son," said his mother. "Lord Narayan is the more powerful than the king. He is none other than the great Lord Vishnu, the preserver of the world." "Where does he live?" asked Dhruv curiously. "Far, far away in the mountains," answered Suniti. That night, when his mother was asleep, Dhruv left the house and began walking towards the mountains. He walked and walked and he walked and thought only of Narayan. Finally, he came to the edge of the northern sky where he met the sage Narada and asked him, "Where can I find Narayan?" "Stay right where you are," answered Narada. "Think only of Narayan and have patience. You will definitely find him." So Dhruv stopped where he was and meditated, thinking only of Narayan. Soon Indra, the king of the gods, sent all kinds of monsters and snakes and evil creatures to scare the boy and make him give up his meditation. But Dhruv stood there still and calm. unaware of everything except Narayan. Ultimately, Vishnu himself noticed the boy and felt the strength in his meditation. I must grant him whatever he wants, said the great god Narayan to himself. Such perseverance and steadiness of purpose must be rewarded. So Narayan came down to the forest and stood before Dhruv. I am here, Dhruv. What is it that you want so much? But Dhruv only smiled when he saw Narayan. So Lord Vishnu turned Dhruv into a little star and placed him high in the sky, above the world and away from all jealousy and evil.
Didi, Drew's story taught me that age is no bar to achieve anything when we do tapa. मैं भी कर सकती हूँ. But Didi, how can I practice it?
Niyati, we can work on tapas of the body by including a regular practice of asanas and pranayama in our daily routine. The action of rising from bed in the morning to practice, even when the body and mind are unwilling, is tapas. One must cultivate self-control and willpower to get up no matter what. Tapas is a way of directing our energy like a focused beam of light cutting through the dark. It is human nature which tends to procrastinate, and we are very good at finding every excuse in the book as what not to do, why not to do something, especially if it is difficult or unpleasant. If we direct our energy, then it can cut down on procrastination and putting off things until tomorrow. Niyati, do you remember Ammaji's 3 R's?
Yes, regularity, rhythm and repetition.
Very nice. Regularity implies carrying out an action on a regular basis, whether it be every day, every week, every full moon, every sunrise or every sunset. Doing so consistently without fail brings out transformation and change. Rhythm creates the momentum to carry one forward with little effort, and repetition over a long period of time is necessary to ingrain something into one's character until it becomes its second nature.